Hey guys, Nix here. So, on the invite of TruePooka, I am doing a response to Brett Keane's latest video, or one of his latest videos, I suppose, called Does Truth Matter? Well, the answer, of course, is that truth does matter. Now, Brett Keane launches off this video by asking us if we think that the Pope or religious figures in authority and in power would be willing to broadcast the knowledge if they received word, incontrovertible proof that there was no God and that the atheists were right and blah blah blah. No, of course they wouldn't. I'm not claiming that I have any knowledge of any given individual, but their organization as a whole is built on control. They're built on taking your money and taking your love and your fealty and having a field day with it. I mean, if you'll pardon my puns, there's nothing more businesslike than the Catholic Church. I mean, that is what they have done and what they do well, and they have done it for some time and done it well. You then go on to list a bunch of sort of hypothetical questions involving what if incontrovertible proof came my way that there actually was a God or a consciousness and it out in the universe, and would I hide it from other atheists, or would I spread the proverbial word? No, I would not hide it, nor would anyone else who's a rational thinker. I think here you profess to be an atheist, but you're missing one of the points, is that it's not atheism that is the tenet, it is rational-minded thinking that is the tenet. If I discovered information that set one of my major modes of thinking on its head, then I would feel compelled to share this with other people who were operating on the same level. The thing is that something so fundamentally different from all the paradigms that are going on around us, from all the paradigms that we have defined, would be something that would shake all of your beliefs to the core. I mean, if somebody suddenly came up with incontrovertible proof that there was a God, if that God, and you ask us, what if that God turns out to be one of the actual anthropomorphic gods of Western or Eastern culture, then, well, fair enough. If it's that God, if it really is, if creationism was proved tomorrow, then we have some real explaining to do. He has some real explaining to do. We are severely, severely lacking in evidence to support anything like that, and therefore, if it happened, we would have such vast gaps in our knowledge that said being had better come down and explain them to us, because we're not going to be able to do so ourselves. Alright, so I have to add in here in response to your examples that you give of what might be incontrovertible proof of, say, the supernatural to an atheist. Walking through the woods and experiencing what one might call a transcendental occurrence, and seeing someone walk down a hospital hallway and healing people, are two entirely different things. If the first happened, the former I should say, I would be most likely to wonder what psychedelic chemicals I'd imbibed that day, or to wonder if perhaps if my state of exhaustion or dehydration were prompting me to see strange things, because there is a very large difference between a personal transient event of that nature and a documented occurrence, such as somebody walking down the hospital hallway in a flowing white robe saying, "Be healed, my son, be healed, my daughter," and fuckers are getting up with broken legs that are now fixed. I mean, that's documentable, bro. So, I mean, you're asking the same question once again. If such evidence came to light, I and anyone who claims to have a rational mind would be forced to accept it. However, postulating what may happen if said evidence occurs isn't really a very fruitful episode, now is it? I don't understand why we would wonder what... we've all already wondered, haven't we all? Everybody out there, haven't you all already wondered what would happen if there was a God, whether you believe in him or not? Shit. I've wondered plenty of times, and now we can move on past that point because there's no further speculation needed. Okay, what would happen if there was a God? Great, I'd probably worship him because I would assume he's not the Christian God, and he would come down and, offer me a better way to live and not be a prick with the whole slavery and stoning adulterers thing. And alright, next, to repeat, you go with the, have you ever seen anything you can't explain or rationalize? And once again, we have the walking in the woods type of story, seeing something you can't understand. Yes, of course we all have. There are several answers. for someone who is a professed atheist, and I acknowledge that I am responding to a short sample of your material, and I'm responding with limited knowledge, but for someone who's a professed atheist, it's somewhat shocking to me that you haven't considered these questions before. There are a number of reasons that you may see anything in the woods. When one is in the woods in the dark late at night, one's threat detection agency is working full time in the back of your head. I mean, you are on full alert. You may see anything. It may spook you. It may act in a surprising manner and cause you to perceive something that didn't actually occur because you're on fight or flight reflex. You may, in fact, be on psychedelic drugs. There's any of a number of reasons for things like this to happen. I find the pointless speculation to be a little passé. I don't really think that if I walk through the woods right now, and yeah, there's woods nearby here, I could go walk out there when the sun goes down. Yeah, if I walk through the woods, I may encounter something that I would be unable to understand, and I would certainly not automatically ascribe it to the supernatural. That doesn't make any sense to me. I would immediately seek to understand what was going on. Now, herein is one of the crucial issues. We don't necessarily have to understand everything. The God of the Gaps argument is not a solid argument. If I don't understand something, I can go to the literature and read about it and understand it. And you, of course, make the quip about attributing something to the Hollywood movie scene or whatnot. That's fine. I don't think anyone who purports to be a rational thinker would take anything so far out of the ordinary and just automatically go, oh my god, it must be a ghost. That's not rational. The rational approach is to say, I don't know what this is. And I don't necessarily know anyone who knows what this is. But I'll for sure find out. And if I cannot, then I will chalk it up to unknown, not spiritual. If that choice of wording is unfortunate, I apologize, but I mean, there's a really big difference there in applying what we know about the universe to what we don't know about the universe, and saying that because we don't know something, it must be unexplainable. No, of course, that doesn't work for anybody. Even a child, that is to say, a non-religiously indoctrinated child, knows better than that. With regard to your question to theists, I think it's a completely blank check. You ask if there was a button that could convert everyone in the world to my way of thinking, would I push the button? Hell yeah, I would. And I think I answered that question affirmatively, whether I'm a theist or an anti-theist. Shit. Do you think any Christian or Muslim out there who thinks he's saving your soul wouldn't push a button to save your soul? Of course he would. What kind of mindless platitude is this? I even, as an atheist, I would push the button because, guess what? I have no dogma I'm selling. I suggest that people think for themselves, that they rationalize based on evidence at hand. Would I push a button to make sure that everyone in the world thinks for themselves and bases their judgments on the evidence at hand? I think I would. Simple answer. Would I push a button to demolish all religious faith and associated beliefs on the planet? No, because I don't like destroying people's minds. I would, however, sit down across from all of them, one by one, for a cup of coffee. Now, I know I'm new to this, but Brett Keane, I'm having a hard time believing that you are truly an atheist. You keep asking the same blank check questions over and over again in this video. What would you do if a god showed up in front of you? What would you do if you had incontrovertible proof that some supernatural force is operating around you? Well, of course we'd respond to it. Of course we'd believe. What would you do? You purport to be a free thinker, do you not? What would you do if someone offered you proof, which only exists in mathematics, by the way, that something was actually happening beyond the normal scope of our ken, our observation? Of course you'd respond to them. The mindless platitudes back and forth over and over do nothing but ask the same question in repeat, in repeat, in repeat.